Hello, thanks for joining us for our class today. So make sure, remember, you go at your own level. So we're going to go through different levels of each exercise, and it's just important that you pick what's comfortable for you, and most importantly that you enjoy doing the exercises as well. Remember, if you have any comments or questions about the class, you can use our comment section on the webpage and we'll get back when we can. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to bring our toes apart and those heels apart, so our feet are that hip width distance. Just to start with, we're going to transfer that weight coming onto the fronts of your toes and then back onto your heels. So just slowly forwards and back from here. And we're just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements. That weight's going nice and evenly through your feet. Your knees should be nice and soft, so not locked back from there. And we're going to bring our hands up onto our pelvis and very gently tilt the pelvis forwards and then tucking the pelvis back. So just slowly forwards and back. Imagine that pelvis is a bucket of water. You're tipping the water out the front, tipping it out the back. And then just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements, so that pelvis in a nice neutral spine position. Again, if you're not sure about this, you can have a look on our website for a little bit more detail. That core's gently engaged. Our collarbones are wide, those shoulders drop down so that neck is nice and long and that neck is lifted through, so we can just tuck that chin in a little bit from here. Great, so we're just going to start with a very gentle stretch. We're going to bring our hands up towards the ceiling, stretching up and then slowly coming back down. Good. Raising those hands, making sure those ribs are staying nice and soft and not allowing your back to arch or your ribs to flare as you raise your arms up. Good. Lovely, and down. Now this time we bring our arms, we bring them up and out into a Y shape. Then back down, just to open our chest a little bit more, opening out into that Y and then coming back down. All that time, make sure those ribs are soft as you open out and then back down. Good, and again, opening out that chest and down. Lovely. Now this time, if we can, you bring your arms up, come up onto those toes, stretching through and then back down. Good. So reaching through and then back down. Good, and again. And down. Lovely, and again. And one last time here, reaching those arms up, stretching through, back down, and relax those arms. Good, okay, now we're going to challenge our balance a little bit more and bring our hands up to shoulder height. Keep those shoulders nice and relaxed, that neck should be long. We're going to come up onto those toes, bend the knees forward, lower the feet, and down. Good, and again, so float the hands up onto those toes, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. So you might get a few clicks of those joints happening now, but that doesn't matter, just getting everything moving. Make sure those knees are going forwards. So as you lift those hands up, I'm keeping that control of my pelvis and bending the knees so they're going straight, lowering and down. Good. So the knees shouldn't be knocking in or going outwards, keeping that line with those hips. Lovely. So again, lifting up, keep that core gently lifted and controlling that lower. Good. And again. Onto those toes, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. Good. Now on this next one, if we can, we're going to raise our hands up towards the ceiling again. Again, keeping that control as you lift up, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. So make sure again, those ribs aren't flaring. We're keeping that control, knees going straight over those toes. Good, last couple here. Up into the toes, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. And again, up into those toes, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. Let's do one last one here. Up into those toes, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. Good, and just relaxing there. Okay, so we're going to do a standing clam movement now, just work into our bottom muscles, so those glute muscles. So just like we do as a clam, we're going to do an opening around our hip. To start with, we can use that toe just resting on the floor, so it's sort of a pivot point from here. And then we can just open out that hip and then back to the start. My hips are going forwards, so not rotating, keeping that control as you're opening out from here. If that feels okay and you're quite comfortable and you want to challenge it a little bit more, then we can hook that foot around the back of the leg and then opening out from here. So I'm challenging our balance a little bit more as well. If that feels too much though, just bring that toe back to the floor. And we're opening out through that hip. But those hip bones are staying relatively forward, not rolling with it. So just like we do a clam lying down, we're keeping those hip bones forward. My body's nice and long, keeping that control as I'm opening out through there. Good, and working into that bottom muscle. Very good. So we'll do last few here. Remember picking what level's comfortable for you. The leg you're standing on is working hard to stabilize you as well and keeping that control. Well done. Last few. And one more here. And relax that leg back down. Very good. Okay, so we do the same again. So we're starting with that toe, just pivoting on the floor and opening out that hip from here. Hip bones pointing forwards. My body's nice and long, that core's gently lifted. I'm just controlling that movement. Again, if that feels comfortable here, then we can raise our foot so it's hooked around the back of that opposite leg and then opening out again from here. Keeping those hip bones pointing forwards. That leg you're standing on is working really hard to stabilize you and control that movement. Good, so just opening out and back. Lovely. I do last few here. Keep that core gently lifted. Well done. Good. And then one more here. And then relax that leg back to that start. Very good. Okay, so we're going to work those bottom muscles, those glute muscles a little bit harder now. And we're going to do an abduction movement out to the side. Now again, I want you to really think about keeping that centre point the same, maybe fixing a point straight in front of you. And we're going to bring one leg out to the side and then back down. But you can see my body is staying pretty still. My hips are staying level and steady from here. And I'm just bringing the leg out to the side. If that feels a little bit challenging, you can always just keep that toe in contact with the floor and slide it out. But if you can, we're going to flex the foot and take the leg out to the side and back down. Good. So controlling that lifting out to the side and down. Good. Still breathing in and out, not holding your breath, keeping that control, that core gently lifted. My body's nice and long and lifted. Well done. Good. Now on this next one, we're going to bring the leg out. We're going to keep it there and we'll do 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax that leg down. Oh, well done. Good. So let's do the same on the other side. So opposite leg, make sure that leg you're standing on is not locked back. You're just controlling that movement. And same again, we're bringing that leg out to the side and back down. As before, if that feels a little bit too challenging, then we can just have that toe in contact with the mat and just sliding it forwards out to the side, I should say, and back. Okay? Or we can flex the foot and come out to the side and back down. Doesn't need to touch the floor again if you can, just keeping that foot above it and controlling out to the side. My body's still staying nice and long, not moving with that movement, keeping my pelvis steady. Good. So as we did before, on this next one, we're going to keep out here and do 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax that leg back down. Very good. Okay, so just to challenge them a little bit more, let's just see if we can do those 8 pulses each side again. So on the opposite leg, we're going to bring the leg out to the side and we're going to go straight into the pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax down. Great. Same again the other side. So bring the other leg out to the side and again, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax that leg back down from here. Very good. And just relax those shoulders. Those legs, I should say. And the shoulders should stay relaxed from here. Okay, now I'm going to come to the end of my mat. I'm going to do a few roll downs. So still keeping those feet that hip width distance apart. I'm just going to roll down as we normally do to start with. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin down and rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Take a breath at the end here. And as you breathe out, slowly peeling back up, gently back into standing and relaxing the shoulders back. Very good. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin down, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Take a breath at the end here. And as you breathe out, slowly peeling back up into standing. Okay, let's do one more here. Breath in. As you're breathing out, tucking that chin down, just curling your spine through, down into that C shape, coming down towards the floor. Breath at the end here, and then as you breathe out, gently peeling back up into standing. Good. Okay, now this time, we're going to go roll all the way down to the floor, and we're going to stay there. So breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin down, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Once you get to your end point, just take a breath in here. As you breathe out, if you can, sink down a little bit further. If you can, And again, breath in. And as you breathe out, sinking down, bending at those knees slightly. And we're going to walk our hands forwards and come down into this 4-point kneeling position. And we're going to do a few little press ups from here. So we've got a couple of options. So either in this 4-point kneeling position, imagine you're trying to bring your hairline down towards the mat. We can go from here. If that feels comfortable, you can lift your feet off the ground. And again, I'm trying now to bring my belly button down towards the mat from here. Or if that's okay, you can straighten those legs. And again, I'm keeping my back flat and coming all the way down. So pick what's comfortable for you. And we're lowering. We're going to do 5 here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 more. 1, coming back, and we're going to tuck those feet back under, and we're going to roll back up into standing, and rolling through that back, up into that standing position. Good. Okay, so we're going to repeat that. Just go to which level suits you. So breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that chin down, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor, bending at those knees, and then we're going to walk down into 4-point kneeling. And from here, either again, that hairline going to the floor, so you're doing it in a box position, or feet raised and we're going down belly button, or with our legs straight and keeping that back flat and lifting from here. Okay, let's do 5 more. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then slowly, very good, just coming off those hands, and then we're going to drop down into a little child pose stretch and relax from there. Good. Breath in and out, just relax through those shoulders, and again breath in and out, relaxing down from there. Good. And we're just going to come back up, and from here just rolling back up again into that standing position. Okay, so one more time we're going to roll down, and this time we're going to go forwards into a downward dog position. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, again, tucking that chin down, rolling those hands slowly down towards the floor. Relax at those knees. I'm going to walk my hands forward now into this position from here. And we're going to stretch through our calves a little bit. And we're just going to drop down one foot and then lift up, and then dropping that opposite heel down to really stretch through my calf. And again, the opposite side. So we're just alternating sides here, doing like a walking movement through our feet, moving through those ankles, opposite sides, side to side. Very good. Breathing in and out, still not holding your breath as you're alternating side to side, stretching through those calves as you're dropping that heel down, and the opposite side. Lovely. We'll just do last few here. Good. And let's do one more each side, dropping that heel down, and then the opposite side. Very good. And we're going to come back down onto our knees and stretch out one last time into that child pose position. So this time just dropping those bottom down onto your heels, those arms are out in front. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, sink down a little bit further. And again, breath in. This time on that out breath, if you can, we're just going to walk our hands around to one side, just to stretch through that side and change that stretch a little bit. Breath in and out here, and then walking your hands back to the middle. And again, breath in, and as you breathe out, walking those hands around to the opposite side. And again, breath in, and as you breathe out, walking these hands back to that front, and we'll slowly walk our hands back up. Very good. Okay, now from here we're going to come round and lie onto our backs. So if you can do that now on your mat, we're going to come round onto our backs. Onto our mats. If you've got a thinner pillow, you can pop it under your head, or your head can just be onto the mat. It's up to you, whatever's comfortable. So we're going to start by finding our neutral position, just like we did in standing. So we can bring those toes apart and those heels apart. So our feet are that hip width distance. And again, just to begin with, we're going to transfer that weight. So we're going to tuck the pelvis under and dropping it forward. So we're just tilting that pelvis forwards and back from here. So nice and control, tilting the pelvis forwards and back. And again, we're looking for that neutral spine position. So that pelvis in a nice neutral point from here. That core's gently lifted. those ribs are relaxed, those shoulder blades are dropped down, and those collarbones widened. Hands down by your side, and that chin just tucked in to your chest from there. Very good. Okay, so we're going to go into a double leg stretch. So let's just start with our arm movement. We're going to float our hands up towards the ceiling, keeping those shoulder blades down. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to bring those hands up and around in a big sort of D shape, coming back to that start. And again, opening out, bring those arms round and back up. Now, as you're bringing those arms round, I want you to really watch for those ribs not flaring as you lift. So you should be maintaining this neutral position as you bring the arms over, then come round and back to that start. Good. And again, opening out through those arms, coming back round and back to that start. Now, if that feels okay and you feel you can control that movement, then we can add in stretching one leg away. And then as we bring our arms back, we bring the leg back up together. And again, opposite leg, stretching away, coming back and back together. Good. And again, opening out, back up, and then to the start. Good. So we're lengthening through, coming away, coming back to that start. Now, if that's okay here, then we can bring both legs up into that double tabletop position. And the same again, we stretch the leg away and come back as one. So we're really opening out through that chest as we come around and then back up. Good, so we'll keep alternating sides from here. And we're just continuing that movement, making sure that your back isn't arching, your ribs aren't flaring, because we're adding in double the movement, both the arms and the leg from here. Very good. We'll do a few more here, keeping that control. Now, if you're starting to feel, if you're in double tabletop, that your back is arching and you're losing that control, just bring the legs back down, okay? It doesn't matter. It's better you do that controlled and well than trying to maintain the position. If it's starting to hurt your back, again, lower those legs back down. Good. And again, opening out through here. But if that's starting to feel too much, bring the legs down, come back to stretching the leg along or parallel with the floor. Good. Do a few more here. So just picking what level is comfortable for you, keeping that control through that neutral spine. Well done. Good. Let's do a few more here. Lovely. Make sure those ribs aren't flaring. That core should still be gently lifted as you're opening out. Well done. Good. So really nice all body movement that we're stretching and working that core as well as our arms as we're opening out through that chest. Good. Okay. Let's do one more each side, opening out through, back up, and again. And lowering those legs back down, and then bring those arms back down by your side. Very good, well done. Okay, so we're going to start and move on to our hip twist movement. So we'll start with our feet down. That core's gently engaged, and we're just going to let one leg fall out to the side, just as far as you feel you've got that control. And then using those toe muscles to help bring the knee back up to the middle. And then we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So dropping that knee over, using those toe muscles to bring the knee back to the middle. And again, we alternate sides from here. I want you to imagine with this exercise, it's quite a subtle movement, but you're keeping those hip bones pointing up towards the ceiling. And as you let the knee go out to the side, you're not letting them roll, so you're keeping that stability at the pelvis. If when you're dropping the knee over, you're starting to feel your body roll or rotate, you're going too far, okay, and you're losing that control. So that's what you're looking for. Imagine you've got those two lasers on the end of your hip bones. They're pointing straight up to the ceiling, and we're trying to keep that control as you're dropping the knee each side, one at a time. Very good. Now, if that's feeling comfortable, then we can bring one leg up into single tabletop, and then from there, coming out to the side, back up, and then lower, and again coming back up, out to the side, coming back up, and then lower. Good, and again, out to the side, back up, and then lowering. Again, if that's still okay here, and you've done Pilates before and you're comfortable, we can bring both legs up into double tabletop, making sure that I'm still maintaining that neutral spine position. and then do the same movement again. So bring that leg out to the side, come back up, and again the opposite side. Now it's quite normal to find that you might feel you can't go quite so far if you bring your legs up into double tabletop. That's fine, it's just harder to control because we're challenging that a little bit more. So just go to where you feel comfortable, breathing in and out as you drop that leg out to the side. Good. Making sure those ribs are soft still. I'm still keeping that neutral spine position, not letting my back arch. Again, if you start to feel that arching, just drop those legs down if you need to. Good. So we'll do a few more here, keeping that control, just that movement's coming from the hip, so my leg's just moving with it. I'm not having any movement from my knee or ankle, it's just from the hip there. Good. Okay, let's just do last few, keeping that control, breathing in and out as we're dropping that leg over and back up. Well done. Make sure those lasers are still up towards the ceiling. They haven't drifted to any sides. Well done. Good. And let's do one more each side here. And then bringing those knees back to the middle. And then if you can, let's bring those knees in and have a little hug. So either taking it from your thigh or from your knees, just bringing those knees up in towards your chest. And we're going to have a nice hug here. So just take a breath in and out. On that out breath, if you can, sink down into that stretch a little bit further if you can, but that upper body should be nice and relaxed, shoulders relaxed as well. Breathing in and out. On that out breath, sinking down a little bit further if you can. And again, breathing in and out, sinking down a little bit further if you can. Good. And again, and out. Good. And then we're just going to relax those legs back down one at a time, coming back to that start position. Okay, so feet and knees still that hip width distance apart. If you've got a block between under your head, you can just pop it away if you can and have your head flat on the mat. And we're going to go into our bridging. So this is our move of the month. So if you've been practicing, it might be starting to get a little bit easier. Remember, go to what level is comfortable for you, and we're going to go through each of those together now. So just starting in that neutral spine position again, make sure that's our starting point. Our core's still gently lifted, shoulders should be relaxed, arms relaxed down by your side. Okay, so from here we take a breath in. As we breathe out, squeezing those bottom muscles, which will tilt that pelvis back, and then we're lifting up into that bridge. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, slowly peeling that back down towards the mat. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, squeezing that bottom, lifting up through into that bridge position, breath in the top here. As you breathe out, slowly peeling back down to that start position. Now, as we said before, make sure you're using your bottom muscles to help lift you up into this bridge, and keep those bottom muscles engaged to help lower you back down as well. So again, breath in. As you breathe out, squeezing that bottom, coming up into that bridge. Breath in here. As you breathe out, slowly lowering back down to that start position. Good. Now, if that's feeling comfortable, you're starting to feel it's a little bit easier, then we can challenge that a little bit more by just raising one heel, then the opposite heel. If that's okay, then you can raise one foot, and the opposite foot, and lowering down. So again, just picking what's comfortable. If you've done Pilates before, or you're comfortable there, or it's starting to feel a little bit easier and you want to try, we can try and stretch a leg. So breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, using those bottom muscles to come up into that bridge. Then from here, we can straighten the leg, come back down, and then the opposite leg. Good. Now, if you're feeling really good and that feels okay, then you can straighten the leg, lift it up, come back, and then lower. And again, straighten the opposite leg, lift up, back down, and then lower. And then lowering slowly back to that start. Good. So remember, you don't have to stay at one level. You can mix and match. Maybe if you're starting to feel it's a bit easier, but you just try a few of the next level, that's fine. Just do what you feel comfortable. But if that feels a bit too much, or you're new to joining us, then just keep those feet down, okay? And slowly keeping that control. Make sure you're not doing it too quickly. It's much harder to do in a slow, controlled way than if you quickly try to push your bottom up. Good. And all the time using those bottom muscles to help lift you up into that bridge, and then slowly back down. As I said before, make sure your heels are tucked up towards your bottom. They're not too far away from you, because that can often be a reason why we get cramp into your hamstrings. If you have been getting that when you're doing this at home, just try and tuck those feet up towards your bottom a little bit more, okay? Good. So tucking that pelvis under, lifting up into that bridge, breath at the top here, and as you breathe out, slowly lowering back down to that start position. Good. We'll do last few here, breath in, as you breathe out, tucking that bottom under, lifting up, using those bottom muscles to help lift you up from here, and then slowly lowering down. Good. And again. So remember those different levels. If you want to try, raise a heel, lifting your foot, or you can stretch a leg. Good. That's it. Or stretching a leg with a lift. Okay. And again. But really watching, if you're stretching a leg, that you're keeping that bottom up and not letting that bottom drop. Good. Just do last couple here. Just at your level, what's comfortable for you. And lowering down. Well done. Let's do one last one. Very good. Stretching the leg if you can. And then lowering back to that start. Very good. Let's bring those knees in, just stretch out that back. Well done. Okay, so just take a few nice deep breaths in and out. On that out breath, if you can, just sink down into that stretch a little bit further. Okay, so just breathing in and out here. And on that out breath, just relaxing down into that stretch a little bit more from here. Good. And again, breath in. And as you breathe out, just relaxing down. No tension through that upper body. Just feeling and opening out through that lower back from here. Good. And again. And as you breathe out, just relaxing down, opening out into that stretch. Good. And then just lowering those legs back down, one at a time, back to that start. Okay, so we're just going to stretch and rotate through our bodies from here. So arms down by your side or out to the side of you. We're just going to drop the knees over to one side. Turn your head to the opposite side if you can. And then use those toe muscles to bring the knees back up to the middle. And then over to the opposite side. So just rotating side to side from here, nice and gently, opening out through that back. And use those toe muscles to bring the knees back to that start and then over to the opposite side. So we're just gently in your own time, rotating side to side from here. Really enjoying that stretch through that lower back. It feels nice to rotate and to stretch through that movement. But breathing in and out still, no tension through the upper body. We're just dropping our knees over side to side, engaging those toe muscles to help bring the knees back up to the middle and then over to the opposite side. Very good. So we're going to repeat this here, side to side, just in your own time. A bit longer. Good. Dropping the knees over. Then coming back up. It doesn't matter if you feel that lift off slightly. We're just dropping over. Again, as your bottom rotates over, you just feel that lift slightly, but your whole body shouldn't be moving. Your shoulder blades should be staying down as you're dropping over side to side. Well done. We'll just do last few here. Dropping the knees over. Use those toe muscles to bring the knees back to the middle. And then over to the opposite side. And again, using these toe muscles, bring your knees back up to the middle. And then to the opposite side again. Good. And slowly dropping the knees over. Using those toe muscles, coming back to that start. And again, over to the opposite side. Lovely. Let's just do one more each side here. Dropping those knees over. Using the toe muscles, bring the knees back up. And last time on the opposite side. Good. And then coming back to that start. Excellent. Very good. Okay, so we're going to come round onto our sides now. So if you come round onto your side, if you've got a thicker block, you can just pop it under your head, between your arm. But if you haven't, you can just use your head, arm relaxing on your head. It's up to you. Whatever's comfortable. Just helps to keep that neck in that sort of alignment from here. Okay, so from here, just like we did in standing, we're going to straighten our legs and do our out to side, so hip abduction movement. So we did this in standing. We're going to try and challenge it a little bit more. So keeping the hips stacked on top of each other, that waist just gently lifted underneath you. If you need to have your hand in front for a little bit of balance, then do. Or if that still feels a bit wobbly, then you can just bend that lower leg just to help sort of stabilise you a little bit more. If you can, we're going to bring this leg up and out to the side and then come back down. So the leg's going straight up to the side and then back down. So your legs should be level with your body, okay? So not too far in front or away from you. So just watch for that. And then if you can, we're going to point the toes to lift up and flex the foot to lower. And again, point the toes to lift up and flex the foot to lower. And again, pointing to lift up, flexing to lower. Just keeping that control, working through these bottom muscles as we're lifting and lowering that leg. Well done. Remember, you can place that hand in front for a little bit of balance, but just try not to push through your hand. Just have it there resting if you need it. Good. So lifting up and then flexing to lower if you can. Good. And again. And lowering down. Well done. And again. Good. Now if this feels okay here, just like we did in standing, we're going to lift that leg, flex the foot from here, and we're going to do 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower that leg back down. Well done. Bend those knees and give that muscle a rub. Very good. Now let's just drop that top knee in front just to stretch out this top leg, and we'll just give that muscle a rest for a minute. While we're resting this one, we can lengthen that lower leg and do a few little pulses with that lower inner thigh. So we're just going to lift up and then lower from here. So breathe in. As you breathe out, lift that inner thigh and back down. And again, lifting and then lowering. Good. So that upper body staying nice and relaxed, no tension through that. I'm just lifting and lowering from there. Good. And again, lift up and lower. Good. And lifting that inner thigh and back down. Good. And again. Keeping that core gently lifted, support that trunk as you're lifting and lowering. Good. And let's do one more lift and lower. And then relax that leg back down. Well done. We're going to bend those knees back up from here. Excellent. So keeping those hips stacked on top of each other so that waist is gently lifted underneath you. So you can just drop through that waist. You're just lifting through that top waist and you'll feel that underneath waist just lift slightly. Imagine you've got a little grape underneath there. You don't want to squash it. So you're keeping that lifted and lengthened from here. That core's gently engaged as well. And we're going to start with our clam movement. So our feet and hips are roughly in that line. Hips stacked. Push through those heels and we're lifting up that top knee. And then lowering back down. Good. And again, we're lifting up that top knee and then lowering down. Now you want to feel it in that back pocket side area. If you don't, you may want to just straighten or bend the knees up a little bit as we're lifting and lowering. It just sometimes helps to get that muscle working, so you straighten or bend them up. So just do what works best for you. But we're lifting and lowering the leg from there. Now we're going to lift it this time and hold it. So we're going to lift that top knee, keeping that knee raised, and we're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower back down. Good. And again, so we're going to lift it and hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax back down. Good. And again, lifting that leg, keeping those hips stacked as you're lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower back down. And one more lift and hold. So we're going to lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. Good. Now we'll do last few, just lifting and lowering that leg from here. Make sure you still haven't squashed your grape. Keeping that nice in control. That core gently lifted as you're lifting and lowering that leg from here. Good. Well done. And we're going to do one more here. And then relax that leg down. Well done. And give that muscle a rub. Okay, so let's just stretch through our upper bodies. And just going to drop that block down onto the floor. So your head's at the front of it. We're going to have our arms out in front. And then we're going to lift up our top arm, opening up that chest, just coming round and back into this arm opening movement from here. And then slowly coming back to that start position. Good, and again, lifting up that top arm, opening up that chest, just coming round and back, just as far as you feel comfortable, and then back to that start. So those hips are staying stacked, and we're really rotating through that upper spine as we're opening out through that chest, and then coming back to the start. So we can keep that elbow bent slightly if you're feeling a pull through your shoulder too much. You don't need to have the arm straight, so just do what's comfortable for you. So if you're lifting that top arm, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, following it with your head on the block. Your head shouldn't be lifted in any way. We're just coming up and around from here. Good. Opening out that chest and then coming back to that start. Lovely. We'll do a few more here. Opening out, coming round and back just as far as you feel comfortable, and then slowly coming back to that start position. Good. And again, lifting up, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, and then coming back to that start position. Good. And again. Lovely. Last few here. Bring the arm, following it around with your head, just stretching through that upper back, opening through that chest as you're bringing that arm around, looking round and back. Good. Let's just do one more here. So lifting up that top arm, opening up that chest, just coming round and back. And then we're coming back to that start position. Good. And then we're going to come back up. Now this time we're going to come round onto our opposite side to do the same again. So you can bring that thicker block round with you if you've been using it. And we're going to come down onto our sides from here. Now you can have that block underneath your head or on your arm, or remember you can just have your head supported by your arms, it's up to you. So feet, we're going to do what we did before and straighten the legs out together. So both legs out straight from here. Those hips stacked on top of each other, that waist gently lifted underneath you. You can have that hand in front for a little bit of balance if you need to, but otherwise we're going to do like we did in standing. Now either, again, if you need to bend that knee just to make it, that lower knee just to make it a little bit more stable, than do, or if you can, it challenges it a little bit more having them both straight. So we're going to lift that top leg up and out to the side and then come back down. So that leg is going straight up and out to the side and then back down. So it should be going level in line with your body. Okay, so not too far in front or behind you. Then if you can, we're going to point the toes to lift up and flex the foot to lower. So point the toes to lift up and flex the foot to lower. Good. And again, pointing to lift up, flexing to lower. Good. Point the toes to lift up and flex to lower. So keeping those hips stacked. If you need to have that hand in front for a little bit of balance, you can, but just try not to push through it too much. So just lifting and lowering from there. Still keeping those hips stacked as we lift and lower that top leg. Good. And again, lifting and lowering, keeping that leg going up and out to that side, really working through those glutes, so probably feeling them kicking in now. Good, well done. So lifting up and lowering down. Very good. Now, just as we did before, if you can, we're going to lift this top leg up again, keep the foot flexed, and we do 8 pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower that leg back down. Well done. Give that muscle a rub and have a rest here. Excellent. So let's drop that top leg in front and really stretch out that top muscle, just to give that a little rest for a minute. So while we're doing that, we can lengthen the lower leg, still keeping that core gently lifted, and we can do a few little pulses from here and lifts of our inner thigh. So breath in to prepare. As we breathe out, lifting that inner thigh and then lowering down. Good. And lifting and lowering. Good. So we're just working into that inner thigh as we're lifting and lowering through that lower leg. That core still staying gently lifted. My upper body's nice and relaxed. So I'm just lifting through that inner thigh from here. Good. And then lowering down. And again, lifting and then lowering. Good. And down. And again, lifting and then lowering. Good. Still breathing in and out as you're lifting that leg and lowering down. No tension through that upper body. Keeping that control as you lift and lower. Let's just do last couple here. Good. And one more time. And relax that leg down. Well done. So let's bring those knees, bend them back up together from here. Okay, so feet and hips are roughly in that line. Those hips are stacked on top of each other. We're going to just drop that top waist down so we feel that lower waist underneath you. Just lift gently underneath you. And imagine again you've got that little piece of grape underneath there. You don't want to squash it. We're trying to maintain this lengthened position from here while we're doing this exercise. So we're going to start with our clam, feet together, pushing through those heels. We're lifting that top knee and then lowering back down. Good. And again, lifting that top knee and then lowering back down from here. Good. And again, lifting that top knee and lowering. So just keeping that control, making sure those hips don't roll back as you lift that top knee and lower down from here. Good. And again, lifting and lowering. Good. Okay, now on this next one, we're going to do the lifts again. So we're going to lift that top knee and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Good. And again, so lifting that top leg, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Good. And again with a lift. So we're going to lift up that top knee, hold it again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lowering. And one more time, we're going to lift up that top knee and hold it again here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lowering. Very good. Now let's do last few if you can together. Lifting and lowering that top knee, keeping those hips stacked, still not squashing that great. Those waist should be lengthened as we're lifting and lowering from there. Well done. Last few. Good. Keeping those hips stacked. Well done. And let's just do one last one here. And relax that leg down. Well done. Give that muscle a little rub. Good. So we're going to keep those knees bent up and just drop that block down onto the floor again, just like we did before. Have our head at the front of it. Our arms are out in front. Keeping those hips stacked, we're going to go into our arm opening stretch. We're going to lift up that top arm, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, just as far as you feel comfortable. And then slowly coming back to that start position. Good. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, lifting up through that top arm, opening out through that chest, just coming round and back. And slowly coming back to that start again. Good. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, slowly lifting up that top arm, opening out through that chest, just following it around with your head. And then coming back to that start. Lovely. So make sure those hips are staying relatively forward. Your head is just rolling on that block. It shouldn't be lifted. And it's just following around with that arm. Opening out through that chest. Coming back to that start position. Good. And again. Opening through. And then coming back. Now remember, if you're feeling a pull through your shoulder, just bend that elbow a little bit. It doesn't need to be straight. We're just trying to rotate through the upper spine. Okay? Good. And again, lifting up that top arm, opening out that chest, just coming round and back, and then slowly back to that start position. Good. And again, rotating through and then back. Let's do last couple here. Really opening out through that chest as we're coming around and following it with our head, so really rotating all through that spine and then back to that start. Lovely. Let's just do one last one. Good. And then come back to that start position. Excellent. Okay, so let's come round onto our backs and stretch out our legs. So just drop that thicker block under behind you. You don't need it for now. So your head is just relaxed on the mat or whatever's comfortable, really. We're going to stretch out our bottom muscles that we've worked really hard today to start with. So just putting one foot onto the opposite knee. If that's enough of a stretch, then just stay here. Okay, or if you can, we're going to just bring the opposite leg, so that leg through the thigh, and just come up in towards your chest. If you still can't feel it, if you just drop to that side you're holding slightly, we can just increase that stretch through this bottom upper thigh here. So we're going to hold this stretch, so just breathing in and out. On that out breath, if you can, sink down into that stretch a little bit further if you can. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, sinking down a little bit further from there. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, relaxing into that stretch a little bit further from here. Good, my upper body's nice and relaxed, no tension through there. Just relaxing into that stretch and holding that there. Good, breathing in and out. On the out breath, sinking down a little bit further if you can as we're holding this stretch. Good. And then relax that leg back down, well done. We'll do the same on the opposite side, so opposite foot onto the other knee. Allow that leg just to relax open there. That's enough of a stretch, then just stay there. Or if you can, with this leg, we're going to put our hands around the thigh and just come up in towards your chest if you can. And then again, breathing in and out here. On that out breath, if you can, sink down into that stretch a little bit further if you can. If you still can't feel it, we could just drop, rotate to that side you're holding just to increase that stretch through that bottom a little bit there if you can. But breathing in and out here. On the out breath, just sinking down a little bit further if you can. Good. Upper body nice and relaxed. And breathing in and out here. Good. And then relax that leg back down. Okay, so let's stretch out our hamstrings now. So knee up towards the ceiling. We're going to just try and lengthen through the back of the leg just to feel that stretch through the back there. Then we're going to hold this stretch, just keeping that supported with your hands if you want to, but still no tension through that upper body, okay? And breathing in and out again as we're holding this here. Good. Now, if we can, just to alter their stretch slightly, we can just flex and point the toes here. Good. And then just bringing those toes back up to the ceiling and holding that stretch again. Good. Just supporting that with your arm. And then relax that leg back to that start. Well done. And we do the last time on the other side. So knee up to the ceiling, lengthen through the back of the leg, feeling that stretch through the back there. Then we're going to just hold this stretch. So again, no tension through the upper body, just supporting it with your arm. Breathing in and out here as we're holding this stretch. Good. And just like we did before, if you can, we can just get a little bit of ankle movement and flex and point the foot from here. Just moving through that ankle, just changing that stretch slightly as we're moving that ankle up and down from here. Good. And then just pointing those toes up to the ceiling again, holding that stretch. Good. Breathing in and out still. And then relax that leg back down to that start. Very good. So we're going to come round and then come back up into a seating position. Either having those legs crossed or however it's comfortable. And just relaxing those shoulders. Let's just do a few shoulder rolls here. Just relaxing down, dropping those shoulder blades down in towards your back. That neck nice and long and lifted. Just stretch our neck out slightly here. So breath in. As you breathe out, just turn that head around to one side. Just feeling that stretch through that opposite side. Shoulders still down. Breath in again. As you breathe out, bring that head back to the middle. And again, breath in. As you breathe out, round to the opposite side. Just turning that head round. Feeling that stretch again through that opposite side, but my shoulders are still down. Breath in. And as you breathe out, back to that start. Good. Then just to stretch through that upper body just last time, we're going to float our hands to shoulder height. And then take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to stretch our hand back and away. And then coming forward. So our bow and arrow, imagine you're pulling that bow back, looking round, and then releasing that arrow. Good. And again, opening out and dropping forwards. And again, each side. And back. Well done. And then back from here, lovely, and relax those arms back down. And let's just drop our chin down towards our chest and just rolling through that upper body, just stretching there, and then slowly rolling back up as if lifting up through nice and tall. And again, just tucking that chin down, rolling down through just that upper body roll here. Good. And then rolling back up into standing. One more time, tucking that chin down, rolling down. And then rolling back up into that lengthening position from here. And then relaxing those shoulders down. Excellent. Thanks for joining us for the class today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, you can ask us any questions and comment on the class on our webpage below, and we'll get back to you when we can. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again for the next class.